In the heart of the modern world, where the hum of machines blends seamlessly with the rhythm of life, a silent crisis unfolds. It does not announce itself with alarms or headlines. It does not arrive with the fury of storms or the chaos of war. Instead, it creeps in through the cracks of daily routines, disguised as convenience, comfort, and progress. In cities that stretch toward the sky and towns that sprawl across the land, people move less and sit more. The world has become a labyrinth of screens, chairs, and couches where the body is often forgotten in the pursuit of productivity, entertainment, and escape. Work is no longer confined to the physical. The farmer's plow and the craftsman's hammer have been replaced by keyboards, touchscreens, and voice commands. The commute, once a brisk walk or a bicycle ride, is now a crawl through traffic in the cocoon of a car. Even leisure has become a passive affair, with hours lost to the glow of televisions, phones, and tablets. This is not a story of laziness or weakness. It is a story of systems, of a world designed to keep us still. Office buildings rise like fortresses, their elevators swift and silent, their stairwells hidden and dim. Public spaces are carved not for movement, but for convenience, with parking lots sprawling where sidewalks might have been. Fast food chains and delivery apps offer meals at the tap of a finger, feeding a hunger that is often not for food, but for ease. And so the body begins to change. At first, it is subtle, a stiffness in the joints that wasn't there before, a breathlessness after climbing a single flight of stairs, a dull ache in the lower back that lingers long after the workday ends. But these are not the signs of aging. They are the symptoms of a life lived in stillness. The human body was not built to sit for hours on end. It was built to move, to stretch, to adapt. And when it is denied this movement, it begins to falter. The muscles weaken. The spine curves inward, shoulders hunched over devices that promise connection but deliver isolation. Blood flow slows, pooling in the legs, feeding the growth of varicose veins and the numbness of restless limbs. The muscles weaken, the spine curves inward, shoulders hunched over devices that promise connection but deliver isolation. Blood flow slows, pooling in the legs, feeding the growth of varicose veins and the numbness of restless limbs. The heart, deprived of the rhythm of movement, beats harder, straining against the weight of inactivity. Cholesterol builds up in the arteries like sediment in a riverbed, narrowing the pathways of life. The mind, too, begins to suffer. The brain, starved of the oxygen-rich blood that movement provides, becomes sluggish. Focus wanes. Emotions grow heavier, tangled in the web of inaction. Anxiety and depression creep in, feeding off the silence that fills the spaces where once there was laughter, conversation, and the joy of shared activity. The world outside becomes a blur, seen only through the glass of windows and screens. This descent is not immediate. It happens in slow, almost imperceptible steps. One day, you find yourself sitting longer than you intended. Another day, you skip the walk you once promised yourself. The gym membership expires unnoticed. The stairs become a burden. The couch becomes a refuge. And yet, the warnings are everywhere. They are in the statistics that show rising rates of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. They are in the stories of young people collapsing during simple tasks, their bodies failing before their time. They are in the whispers of doctors who see the same patterns repeating in patient after patient. High blood pressure, chronic pain, fatigue, despair. But the modern world is not without its defenses. It offers distractions, justifications, and illusions of control. I'll start tomorrow, we tell ourselves. I'll make up for it this weekend. We buy expensive gym memberships and fitness trackers. Technology, which promised to liberate us, has instead chained us to our seats. The very devices that connect us to the world also disconnect us from our bodies. We measure our lives in emails sent, posts liked, and videos watched, rather than steps taken or moments shared. We have become spectators in our own lives, watching the world pass us by while we sit and scroll. The irony is that the solution is simple. It does not require grand gestures or radical transformations. It requires only the willingness to move, to stand, to walk, to stretch, to dance, to live. It requires breaking the cycle, one small step at a time. It requires choosing the stairs over the elevator, the park over the couch, the conversation over the screen. And so the battle is not just against inactivity, but against apathy, against the belief that we are powerless. The future is not yet written. It is shaped by the choices we make today. Will we continue down the path of stillness, allowing our bodies to wither and our minds to fade? Or will we rise, literally and figuratively, to meet the challenge of a life lived in motion? The answer lies not in grand declarations, but in small, consistent actions. In the decision to stand instead of sit, to walk instead of drive, to move instead of wait. The silent descent can be halted, the tide can be turned, but only if we choose to act. Because the longer we wait, the deeper we fall. And the deeper we fall, the harder it becomes to rise. In the end, this is not just a story about the risks of a sedentary lifestyle. It is a story about the resilience of the human spirit. Because life is not meant to be observed from a screen. It is meant to be felt in every step, every breath, every heartbeat. It is meant to be lived.